Welcome to the Running with James podcast. We are committed to helping runners, OCR athletes, and the everyday person get involved, get connected, and get committed to becoming the best versions of themselves. Remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. Now here's your host, James Wyatt.
And welcome back to another edition of Running with James. Guys, it is Friday. I'm talking about Friday. Do you remember that song?
No, I know last Friday night when we were dancing in the park and skinny dipping after dark.
It's Friday. You remember that song? It was like a YouTube song. Chick was like driving in a car with a rapper and she like
Rebecca Black.
Sure, yeah.
Like young teeny bopper? Yeah, I do remember that song now.
Yeah.
Sorry, you weren't quite hitting the notes, so it took me a second.
I wasn't singing it, I was just talking it.
Yeah. Rebecca Black is ironically in the Katy Perry song that I was just quoting.
Oh, well, probably because it was her song originally, and she made a version of it and put her in the song.
Katy Perry, which one?
Katy Perry put Homegirl in it.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Katy Perry's been around a lot longer, so...
I didn't say anything about Katy Perry being older or been around longer.
So I guess
I was saying that Katy Perry probably brought the girl onto her song because she came up with the Friday song.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. That's probably true. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's like you're just finding a way to be contrarian.
I'm not trying to be contrarian.
You don't do it on purpose.
I think you say contrarian a lot because I just said something that maybe wasn't exactly in line what you said.
Okay. Whatever you say, dude.
I don't think you know what this word means.
I know exactly what it means. I don't think you know what it means.
I know exactly what it means.
What does contrarian mean?
To have a contrary opinion, an opposite opinion.
You cannot use the word in the definition.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, that is not how it works. That's not how Webster handles it. So, can somebody please define the word smart for me?
A person who opposes or rejects popular opinion.
That didn't use the word contrary one time.
Well, okay, I didn't. Of contrary opinion. Contrarian is someone who is of contrary opinion. That's like a response you'd give in like high school and you're trying to be a little smart A to your teacher and you're trying to sound cool.
See, I would think it's an answer you would give when you don't actually know the answer. And so you're like using the word to cover up the fact that you can't figure out the exact definition. That's what it sounds like. I'm not saying that's what you did. I think you were just caught off guard, but you knew what the word meant.
I think I'm too out of it to be having any more depth of this conversation.
Okay. Well, hopefully we're not going to be talking about this because this is not what I wanted to talk about.
This is not going to keep.
I was just trying to have a sweet intro, and you're coming in here talking about notes.
Notes?
Mm-hmm.
What notes?
Not hitting the right notes.
Oh yeah, sorry, you weren't hitting
when
the right
I wasn't
notes.
singing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't singing.
Oh, well, sorry.
Guys, here's the deal. Hopefully we're not going to be bickering like children this entire time. But this chick she's not engaged right now.
I'm sorry, I'm so tired.
I was like, are we ready to go?
I'm ready.
And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, but she's on her phone, right? So that phone.
I was reading through the notes.
That phone.
Reading through the notes.
That phone. Some people have like issues, like addiction issues.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely do. Yeah.
You have got to put that thing down.
Yeah.
I think what you got to do is like what we do with Olivia. We have an alarm, and we set that alarm, and she's no more screen time than that. She's got to go read a book, play her viola, play the piano, something, but she cannot be on the screen. I think you're going to have to like set some kind of guideline on you, because you can do it on your phone. You know that.
Yeah, you can. You can set time limits. I definitely have adopted an addiction to my phone because I'm constantly refreshing my emails or something.
I don't believe that. I believe you are refreshing your emails.
I do refresh my emails all the time. Or
I believe that, but I feel like you're probably on. I feel like you're on social media more than you should be.
I check our social media, because I run so many of them, so I check them all constantly. Because I run like 5 pages, so I'm checking all of them constantly, which is not helpful. It's just bad habit. And then also I've gotten to this weird thing where anytime a random thought pops into my head, I have to Google it right then and there. So there up until like I think a week ago, I had like over 100 different tabs on random stuff on my phone just because.
What do they have to do with
anything? It can literally be like I saw where did I don't know, bluebirds originate from. I'm just random stuff. It could be the most random thing. That's not an actual thing I Googled, but I'm just giving you an example of random.
I mean, I would believe that actually.
That's not one of them.
Let's pull up one of them tabs. Let's see.
I already deleted them. I said
I'm just kidding.
I deleted them all.
I'm kidding. You are an enigma.
I am.
You are an enigma. You know, how long have I known you?
17 years almost. A long time.
Really that long?
I mean,
are you sure?
You met me when I was like 20, 21. So yeah, 16 or so years, at least 16 years.
No. Because I think I didn't start going to Iron Sports until like 2012, 2011.
I don't think so. Because I wasn't out of college yet.
I'm just telling you. 2012, 2011. That's when I started going to Iron Sports. And I didn't meet you before then. I met you there. Because I was on Ninja Warrior the first time in 2012. That was my first season. Was that
the first year?
That was my first season, yeah. And I'd only been going for like maybe 6 months when we got a chance to go on the show.
So maybe more like 15 or so years.
It's 2025.
So yeah, you said
That'd
20,
be 13
years. 13 years. So 13 years at least. Over a decade. Long enough. I'm really doing great today.
So you would think by now, you wouldn't surprise me as much as you do. But yet. And they're not like always
are they always bad?
Good surprises. They're like surprising, like I should know better by now, but like still, I'm like, yeah, Blue Jays.
Why not?
Oh man. Well, hopefully I'm able to surprise you as well. Probably not because
you are a creature of habit to some extent. And I try to
not to some extent. I'm a creature of habit.
I try to be a creature of habit. I'm a creature of habit in ways in certain ways where something's going to stress me out. That's how I'm predictable. Like I guarantee this will stress Lauren out. Yeah, in that way I'm very predictable. And that's most things.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was just thinking, we got the race coming up tomorrow. Or this weekend, not tomorrow. This
weekend. Don't say it's not just tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's
so
all
different
weekend.
People race in different days. And when I say the race, I'm talking about Houston High Rocks. So
if you're in the know.
Yeah, if you're in the know, or if you've been listening to this show at all, or if you are in Houston, they said there's like 9,000 people going to be there.
Yeah. Was it 9,000? Yeah.
And they said there were going to be as many spectators.
A 1-to-1 ratio.
That's what they said.
So many people.
That's like 20,000 people almost.
Yeah. Over 2 days.
Yeah.
That's so many people.
That's a lot of people. So
that's not nerve-wracking.
That's not a small event. That's a huge event.
That's a big event.
That's a lot of people. So that means
that's going to be a lot of energy.
A lot of energy.
A lot of hype. A lot of, I don't want to say drama because it's not drama, but like a lot of drama in that there's going to be so much happening. It's just going to be high hype all the time.
High hype, high energy. Yeah, I can see that. So, but then also
there's always some kind of drama.
Well, there might be race drama, right?
Like race drama.
It's going back and forth.
Yeah, there's race drama that people are going back and forth. Someone's always running around like, I forgot my nutrition, or I forgot my something. There's always something.
Sure.
That people are having to figure out on the go.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it should be a fun weekend. It's going to be a big weekend. I'm excited. It's going to be a big weekend for BC Fitness. So we got a lot of people racing and 52, 54, something like that.
We got over 50 athletes who are going to be repping the BC name. That's just athletes. We're also bringing a very large quantity of volunteers who will be working the event.
That's true. So basically we're putting the event on.
So yeah, we're basically.
Ipso facto.
I mean, yeah. So they should basically just partner with us solely, BC Fitness, the gym of High Rocks in Houston.
It doesn't have to be solely, but I mean, I believe we're an integral part of what makes it successful. They're like, it's 9,000 people, dude. You got 50 coming. I don't know if that really maxes out.
We bought in real hard. Yeah, no joke. We make up what percentage of that 9,000?
Yeah, but I mean, that's people from all over the country.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's an elite race. This is one of the elite 15, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're doing an elite 15 for the doubles.
Yeah.
So they're going to have but they're going to, this year they're having an elite 15 men's and women's doubles.
Which is going to be really fun to see.
And there's only 5 qualifying cities, and Houston's one of them.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I think it's going to be so big, too.
Yeah.
So Tia Claire Toomey's supposed to be there.
I heard that.
Running.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing mixed doubles. There's a couple of ladies from the Elite 15 that are supposed to be there. I mean, there's going to be some good competition for sure.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of fit people.
Yeah, well, usually you do, right?
You do,
it's a fit competition. But you're also going to see a ton of first-timers.
A lot of first-timers, which it feels like, and I could be wrong, but it feels like there's so many first-timers this time around for Houston.
Yeah.
I feel like so many people I talk to, so many people are doing it for the first time. and they're like all getting super jittery and nervous. How many of our people are first timers?
I have no idea.
Not as many.
I can't keep track of it. I don't even know. You sent me a list the other day, and I'm like, who's missing, James? I'm like, I don't know.
I sent it to you and Carlos, and guess what? I still messed up somebody's name in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, did they reply on the community board?
I technically blame Carlos. It was one of his girls because
The answer would be
no.
There we go. So whose fault is it?
Theirs.
There you go. So athletes, take responsibility for yourself. We're going to do our best, but don't get upset if you get missed if you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Boom.
Boom.
Face.
I didn't
Got
have
'em.
I didn't have as much aggression as you did.
I'm just an aggressive guy.
Boom. You're so intimidating, James.
I am an intimidating individual.
As we've talked about in the meetings.
I'm an intimidating
James
individual.
Is so when you get a whiff at the competition of like real alpha male energy, intimidation, like just coursing through your veins, no James Wyatt has entered the building.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Followed by Jessica.
I scream alpha male. That's what I scream.
Says the patch on your backpack.
My backpack says it. So you know it's true. It's such a cool little patch.
I thought you were about to say cute.
I was, and I stopped and turned it into cool.
It's got a unicorn on it. Yeah. I do like the patch. I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was like it's
perfect.
Fun. It's like fun. You know, it's girl dad energy.
It's major girl dad energy, which I think is really cool.
But still, it has the heart of who I am. Like
it's like squishy.
Yeah, it is. It's soft.
It's a soft,
and it's very pastel.
Patch. It's very pastel.
Very pastel.
I like the lightning bolt one too.
Yeah, I can't tell you about what that's about. That's a secret thing.
I mean, it's a lightning bolt. I can assume it's only like so many things, but okay.
I mean, it's just not everybody gets a lightning bolt. You know, it's a.
Didn't you buy it yourself?
It's a select few.
Didn't you buy it yourself?
It's a select few.
So you buy. So you.
Huh?
So
well,
you,
it's a
oh,
thing
and you
BC,
and your
it's a thing BC Fitness hands out to certain athletes.
So you and your partner.
No, just there's multiples. Anybody could get one, but you have to
earn it.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. That's it.
So so no one knows about these patches. You're just going to randomly give them to people.
The only people that know about them are people that have them. So if you have one, know that you're part of a very select group.
Any of our people who get like, you're going to have so many people like messaging you like, why haven't I gotten a lightning patch?
You won't know why. You'll know when you get it why you got it. But if you don't have one, it's okay. Just keep working. Right? It's kind of like, it's not even me that makes the decision. So like our software is basically has an AI. And so when you've reached a certain level of strength, fitness, whatever, then it sends you an invite to a couple of our super secret workouts that we do. Right. So I'm not even in control of that. I have no control over it. It's the AI of the software. Same thing when you reach a certain level, I record kind of everybody's, because a lot of people I coach, I put their times in, their goals. And so I put that information in, and the AI sends me an email that says, hey, give so-and-so a lightning patch. So it's not even up to me.
Wow.
I told you, AI is taking over, guys.
AI is the above.
I have no control over it.
Is the end-all, be-all,
it's the BC
say-all.
Fitness AI, and so there's not a lot right now. So, of course, I get one.
Of
course I get one, because, I need to be lead by example.
Sure.
I have to lead by example.
You are the alpha male.
So, let's not be let's not start something.
I just said I liked your patch.
Yeah, I didn't need to add anything extra.
No,
that's on me.
You could have said thank you.
Yeah, I could have.
Yeah.
I could have.
So that's on you.
But
gotta have them wanting it. Gotta leave them.
Just, yeah, exactly. We call that a teaser, right?
Teaser.
Call it a teaser. And people will be like, what's up with the lightning patch, James?
Yeah, and then the next Sunday Fun Day, so many people are going to be like, oh, I guess I don't get a lightning patch. I'm not cool enough.
And I'll be like, yeah.
No, you won't.
That's exactly true.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I guarantee people are going to be asking me about the lightning patch.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I can already think of like 5 people right now that will be asking about it.
And I'll be like, hey, talk to the AI. To the AI? I didn't even say that right. Talk to the AI. Talk to the AI. My nose is stopped up right now.
You better not be getting sick. And
Let's
if you are, I need you to scoot your chair back.
This whole freaking week, I've been sniffling and just fighting it. And I'm like, for like months, I've had no problems. And then literally, this is how it works every time.
Well, it's just that time of year. There's something going on in the air. If you have kids in school around other beautiful little Petri dish children, something is going to probably follow them home one day. Because one of our other girls is fighting off
the flu.
Yeah. And she's got a race on Sunday.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. I swear, my daughter the other day, we were driving somewhere and I could hear her in the back just coughing, just hacking up a lung. And I'm like, turning around and she's just like, dude, cover your mouth. I did. I was like, I just sat and watched you cough. You did not cover your mouth. And then I hear her again and she looks at me. like with this evil look on her face, like, yeah, I just coughed without covering my mouth. This is yours. And she's sniffling and wanting to like get off in my face and stuff. Like, oh.
I got an alarming text, most alarming to me, an alarming message from my mother today. We watch my nieces a lot. One of my nieces too, she's in daycare, so meaning she is sick with something constantly. And my mother just randomly texted me. She goes, "Hey, you might want to go get a measles vaccine." And I was like, I need to know something? She's like, "Oh, it just wouldn't be a bad idea." I was like, have one of the girls come down with the measles? Because if any of y'all have come in contact with measles, I don't want to come near y'all. Like,
I mean, there has
soon.
been an measles outbreak.
There has, and
it's in Texas.
I've never had a measles vaccine because of when I was sick up there with the chicken pox. Never had that either. So,
yeah.
So she's like, yeah, might be a good time to go get one just in case, because it is kind of making its way through. And I was like, well, does somebody have it? And she was like, no, not yet. I was like, oh, okay, that's good, but come nowhere near me, please, until next week.
Yeah,
do not come near me.
It's one of those things that it's like, that's the thing I think about racing that is not fun, but like it's the challenge is that you can commit yourself to training for months and months, do everything right. And, some things are just out of your control. Things happen, weird things happen.
Yep.
And you just kind of have to roll with the punches as best you can and trust that, hey, hopefully there'll be another chance. So
the good thing is with High Rocks, we know there will be other chances because it comes every year. And if you can travel, if you have the luxury to travel, there's usually 9 other chances throughout the year.
Yeah.
If you can afford to travel.
Right.
But it does stink when you put so much work into racing for something and you I would say it's one thing if you get hurt, because sometimes when people get hurt, it's like because they did something they weren't supposed to be doing.
Sometimes.
I
have
not all the
someone
time.
right now. She went skiing with her family, and she was getting off the thing and twisted her knee. All right, she's got to have surgery now.
And was she supposed to race? Or?
It's like, in April.
Oh, in April.
So, but that's a freak thing.
Yep.
Things happen, right?
Yep.
I mean, you could step weird out of the shower, and
your dog could trip you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like you can't not leave the house. I mean, you have to live your life. What are you going to do? Like say, oh no, I can't go on a vacation this year. I have a race in June.
Right. I gotta stay in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
I gotta stay in bubble wrap.
We've no, but it is terrible when you get to like right up to race time and all of a sudden that's when the sniffles kick in.
Yes.
Or you just wake up and you're just not feeling great.
Right.
And something's come for you.
Well, sometimes, like you said, I mean, sometimes it is based off of your own, maybe make some training mistakes or things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So we've all made those kind of things, like doing a sim the week of a race, right? Or going out and doing like this big long training interval session right the week of the race or the day before.
You know who you are.
Or, trying out a new pair of shoes for the race, or, we all make mistakes that kind of maybe not ruin, but like.
Don't allow us to perform our best.
Yes. Right. And so we may come out of it like feeling like a failure, feeling like we weren't as successful as maybe we could have been. Right.
Yeah.
So we've all made training mistakes. We've all made racing mistakes. And so, as we kind of go into this race weekend, I think there's some things that we could kind of do to kind of fall forward, right? Fail forward. So use some of those mistakes other people have made, learn from those mistakes, right? I know you're the type of person who loves to learn from your own mistakes.
Constantly.
But, I'm a big believer in learning from other people's mistakes. I'd rather you mess up and I watch you fail
You watch me.
and struggle.
Watch me flop around.
And then I say, you know what? I'm not going to do what she did,
Okay.
right? Rather than... So I did when I was younger too, right? Because that's what you do in your youth.
When you're a kid, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
You learn a lot from failure. And most of the time, actually, you learn more from failing than you do from success. But that doesn't mean you should maybe learn from other people's failures.
So I'm definitely in the category of like person who will see someone else make a mistake and fail and be like, yeah, but that won't happen to me.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're special and different.
Because I'm me.
Yep. Exactly.
I definitely can fall into that category sometimes.
Yeah. So, I think as we're getting ready for this weekend, what are some big mistakes maybe you've made the week of a race that maybe didn't pan out for you?
Any race?
Yeah.
Okay. Just the week of. We're not getting up to the day of, because I can give you ones all the way up to the day of. Week of, I would say.
Well, that would include up to the day of, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't saying I can get real specific. This was at a local race, but this was probably something that more recently happened. I did a local race. And I was kind of using it as an opportunity, like, okay, let me try a couple things out because I want to see if these work here, and then if I want to use them for race day. So I tried out a ketones
drink,
one of those little ketone beverages.
Yep.
I had been given some from somebody gave me a bunch of them, and so I had one of them, and I asked somebody who loved to take them. I have a friend who loves them. She drinks them all the time, and she says they really help her. And I was talking to another guy who's a big runner, and he says, "Oh yeah, I would just take it, an hour or so before your event, and you're just gonna feel like you have like a good energy, like a good high." I was like, okay. So I was like, well, let's try this out. I took it. And ended up because again, it was a local race, like everything about the event kind of got pushed back. So I ended up not racing until an hour after my original start time. So I was like, oh man, it's going to wear off anyway. But then I got to my race time, and within, not even joking, the first 5 minutes, my heart rate was at 160 and would not come down.
Oh, wow.
And I was intentionally going so slow on stuff just to try to get it to come back down, and it would not come past 160.
I don't know why I thought when you said you took out of the first thing that came to mind, you said I thought you were going to say you pooped yourself.
No, I've never done that.
Or you had to like really go to the bathroom really bad. I don't know why.
I've had that happen in a training run, but never in a race. But no, I've never had a bathroom situation in a race, because that to me is like one of the worst possible things that could happen.
No, for sure.
Is pooping yourself at an event.
Yeah, no. It would be tough for sure. So, so you took something you hadn't tested before an event.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Big mistake. Never do that. Right. You always want to try that stuff out, test it out beforehand. And I almost to the point, like, I mean, I know that like when you do a hard events, long events like High Rocks, you need to take in calories to keep your energy levels up. But you also want to practice that. So if you haven't practiced that, like the question is, well, since you're not supposed to do anything new on race day, do I try it?
Yeah.
Or do I just not do it and know that I'm going to probably struggle toward the end?
What would you, as a coach, what would be
the
your
first
direction?
thing I would say is you need to practice it. I've been telling you to practice it. Why haven't you been practicing it?
Okay, well, let's get past the shaming.
Okay,
them.
that would have been the first thing. That's not shaming. That's being blunt and open with them and honest. The second thing I would say is, you know what? You need to just make sure you get some kind of sugars and carbs in your body. If you do something like a gummy, or you do something like maybe an electrolyte drink, whether it's Gatorade or something like that, that's going to be pretty easy on your stomach, and something is better than nothing. So don't take a lot of it.
Okay.
Right.
So
most gels, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you can do something that's more natural, that's more like more vegan friendly, vegetarian friendly, stuff like that. But I would say just taking stuff like that, specifically, like everybody's tried Gatorade before. Everybody's, most electrolyte drinks for the most part shouldn't really mess with your gut. And that's really the only thing you're worried about for the most part. I would say take something, even if it's a little something, right? But, if you're someone who suffers from like the IBS, right, the irritable butt syndrome, then I would say
don't try anything new.
Don't do it.
Or just wear brown pants and hope for the
That's so gross.
There are technically
That's almost
bathrooms.
as gross as I sound.
There are technically bathrooms on the course.
Not technically, there are bathrooms on the course.
Well, so don't feel like you can't go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah,
like,
you can, but they don't stop your time.
They don't stop your time. You're just going to lose time. But honestly, at that point, if you were literally about to have a mess, and we have some friends that would be like, no, I get the PR no matter what.
What friend are you thinking about?
You know who I'm thinking about.
I don't know anybody that would poop themselves for a PR.
I don't know if they would poop themselves, but they definitely have said, I will pee myself for a PR.
In a High Rocks? Maybe a marathon or something.
You know what? If you know them, and if we get to race day and they have to, I'm trying to make sure that I don't give anything away of who this person is.
Okay.
If we get to race day and they have to pee and they go out, we will find out the day of.
Well, I don't know who she's talking about, but I bet you know who she's talking about.
You know who you are.
If it's someone out there. Because right now you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I'd poop myself for a world championship
Guys,
spot.
Just don't, I mean, also depending on when you poop yourself, that could be like nasty chafing for like the rest of the race.
Yeah.
And if you sit on that rower with a poopy butt.
That's so gross. That is so gross.
Don't do it. Just go to the bathroom. Suffer the time loss.
Why would you pick the rower of all things?
I mean, depending on when you do it, that's what's going to happen.
That happened pretty early in the race if it happens on the rower.
I mean, so that's the other thing I would say. Don't go try new cuisine the night before your race.
No.
Please don't.
Don't eat Indian food.
Don't
the
eat
night
anything
before.
spicy.
Stay away from
Don't eat anything saucy
a lot of
or rich.
fiber, and craziness. So I'll tell you for me, one that I did pre-race week. So I had gotten like a cold or something like that, and I got like one of those Z-Packs. Mm-hmm. And they gave me this, like, they'll usually give you like a steroid, right? And the steroids usually to kind of help you feel a little bit better, kind of help with some of your symptoms and stuff like that too. And so I had taken that steroid, and it like woke me up in the middle of the night, like at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I think
This is
I
actually, I
remember
had COVID, actually, is what it was. I had COVID,
Yeah.
and they'd given me the steroid. And COVID, it wasn't bad for me. Like I had a little bit of a headache in the first day, and then I felt a little tired.
Yeah.
But then by the day 2, I was fine. But like I woke up at like on the third day, I woke up like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm just laying there, eyes wide open. And I was like, you know what? I could go run right now. Nobody's out. I don't have to worry about giving anybody COVID. I'm going to go for a run. And I was just going to go for like a little 1-2 mile run. It turned into like an 8-mile run.
Oh, okay.
And I just and I felt so good. And I went home, took a shower, went to sleep. It was awesome. So I was like, dang, that steroid got me hyped, man. That steroid really helped me. I was like, man, I wonder if that would do the same thing in a race.
Oh, no.
So like a month later, I only took the stuff for like a couple days and I stopped taking it. And so like a month later, I had a race, an OCR event, and it was a 2-day event. So it was the one we did the Savage, and then the next day we did the sprint, right?
Yes.
And
that was a long weekend.
So I was like, oh, this is going to be a long weekend. I'm going to try this stuff. Nobody's going to test me for steroids.
That was a rough weekend.
And it's not the same kind of steroids you're thinking about, guys.
This isn't like
not even
juicing.
close.
This
Yeah,
isn't juicing.
It's not. But either way, I still took this stuff because I thought in my mind it was going to make me feel better, right? And I didn't do any kind of research on it or anything. It was just like one of those things. Oh, I felt good when I took it.
We'll test it now.
I'm going to feel good again.
Okay.
And I didn't know it had a diuretic in it. And so I was running, and about a quarter of the way through, I was struggling. Like my legs felt heavy. Like I was so thirsty. And I ended up finishing the race, and it was like one of the worst races I'd had in a while. And then the next day, we had our race again.
Is that
and
the Spartan?
Yeah.
The next day, yeah.
I felt a little bit better, but I think it's because I had gotten some of that stuff out of my system, right?
Yeah.
And so I raced a little bit better. And so I know you don't do anything on race day, but I was like, oh, this little edge is going to give me. I'm going to go out there for this long race. So I doped myself and freaking cheated, and it backfired on me.
It sounds like it cheated you.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
I always kind of wondered, I know when I was telling one of the younger girls who started training with us that when we were in high school and I was on the drill team, we used to have these camps all week, and we would do dance practice for hours all day. And it got to be where by the second day, girls were so exhausted. We were taking NoDoz, which I don't know if you remember NoDoz, those heavy caffeine pills.
Yeah.
And we would just take them, and some girls would do them with an energy drink, and some girls would just do them. Yeah, no.
It sounds like a heart attack.
Yeah, no.
Happen,
Dumb things. But we were we got to make it through an 8-hour day of training and practice. So we were all just taking NoDoz, and we would all be hyped and be a room of 60 hyped up teenagers.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you could get that same effect if you took a NoDoz before a high rocks race. Just get hyped.
Maybe for a very short period of time.
I'll say maybe,
but a lot of those things, they have diuretics. They're diuretics, right? So they can dehydrate you and make you have to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I remember one time, actually before when I was in high school, we had a track meet, and it was track meets were 2-day events, 3-day events, and you're outside in the heat because it's in the spring and in the summertime and stuff. I remember I was doing the field events on Saturday, so I did the high jump and the long jump, which aren't very they're not really super taxing on your body.
Yeah.
You're doing very short things, right? But I also ran the 400, the 4x400, and the mile, and those are usually toward the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we went to lunch, and we middle of the day we went and ate lunch. I don't remember what we ate for lunch, but don't even ask me why. But I bought a quarter gallon of orange juice, right? And I was going to drink the orange juice because it was hot, and I liked orange juice, and
why not?
The sugar was going to make me feel better. And
orange juice is gross coming back up.
And I went and did the mile.
Yeah.
And ran a PR on the mile, right?
Good.
So I ran it was a 5:02, 5:03. So it was the first time I'd gotten that close to 5 flat. And crossed the finish line, and I had literally maybe 5 minutes, and I had to turn around, and I had to do the last leg of the 4x400, right? So everybody does one lap around the track, right? So it was the main event of the day.
Yeah. And that's a sprint.
And it's a sprint, right? No, it's a sprint. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man, I don't feel good. What's going on with me? Whatever. So as I'm sitting there, we're coming. It's super competitive. People are running, and then I'm the last leg, and here comes my teammate. So I grab the thing and I start running, and we were like in like third or fourth place or something. And I'm running with everything I have to try to catch up, right? To try to make top 3.
Yeah.
So I'm sprinting down the 100-meter line, and I catch the third place guy.
Okay.
And I literally almost catch the second place guy right at the line. But before I can cross the line, like as I'm running, I'm puking my guts out on the track, right? And literally, it wasn't on the track. It was like, because at a certain point, you kind of come to the inside, right, on the 4x400.
Yeah.
And it's like all in the field where all the people are cheering us on. And I come past the finish line, and I just fall on the ground. I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. I'm just orange juice. And so, later in that year, my coach, joker, he's like talking about one of our other friends who had like lost his shoe and kept running, right? And how inspiring it was for him to run with just one shoe on. And then he tells the story of me puking my guts out, right? Not like it was an inspiring story of how he conquered and overcame, but rather he's like, it's hilarious. He threw up.
Did y'all at least get third?
We did.
There you go.
We
Still
got
need
third.
top 3.
We didn't get second, though. But I'm wondering if we could have gotten second.
You
had
just
it not
held it
been
in.
full of orange juice.
You'd held it in for like
Right,
another
I was literally
second.
like pushing against myself, right? So the force was going that way while I was trying to run that way, right? So it's like overstriding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's gross coming back up, though.
So don't drink orange juice before you do a hard effort, guys.
Don't do anything weird like that. No gallon of anything.
No
Not even a
of
gallon
anything.
of water. You'll throw that up, too.
No. Keep it.
Keep it sips.
Yeah,
Little
I think
sips.
people will talk all the time like carbo loading, and I saw someone the other day.
Yep.
And they were asking about like how much do they carb load and everything else, and because they had seen this post, and this guy sent a post about how you should carb load for for all types of events, from like 5K up to like a marathon, and it was super complicated.
Yeah.
Like it was so super complicated, like how much carbs, how much protein, how much fiber, how many calories, all this stuff. And I'm like, that only applies if you actually track your stuff regularly.
I was going to say, because the thing is, the people who read these are like, oh, well, I'm going to follow this guy's advice on making sure I now count my macros.
Yeah.
It's still a change to your body that your body has to adapt to. So your body's now getting a different amount of all your macros, your proteins, your carbs, your sugars.
Right.
And your body has to make adaptations to that. That's not something your body just naturally will be like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. Fine, keep going as normal. No.
Yeah.
Because your body hasn't.
Because
like,
you
done
could
it
be
before.
taking more or less.
Yeah.
You never know, right?
Yeah. And too much protein, like if you suddenly are taking a lot more protein than you used to, it can make you feel kind of sick.
So I just think that
At least for me it does.
they make it so complicated. I feel like when it's really simple. I mean, if, I was talking to them and I was like, listen, you're tapering.
Yep.
So since you're tapering, you're not burning nearly as many calories as you usually burn. As long as you eat the same way you've been eating, more than likely, you're going to be fine.
Yep.
You're going to be eating more calories and more carbs than you have been. Your body's naturally going to be storing it.
Yep.
You'll be okay, right? So the key, I think, more than anything, is to fuel during the event.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You want to fuel during the event
You want the proper
so
amount of
that
energy.
you can keep those levels as high as possible. Because it's not like you're going to be out there for 5 hours.
No. I mean, this is an hour and a half, maybe.
Right. So the average time, I think, is around an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, as long as you take something right before, as long as you take something during, you're going to be good, and you're going to not be feeling heavy and lethargic and, all that other stuff. What about like during a race? What do you feel like one of the biggest mistakes you've made during an event?
During an event? Oh, man. I'm going to have to let you take that one first because I got to think on it for a second. I'm sure I know there's some in here, but I can't think on it right now. So I'll let you take that one first.
Probably trying like new shoes or socks. Like I did
New
both at the same
socks.
race.
Oh, yeah.
And ended up getting like crazy blisters on my heels, and it ruined my race because like anytime we had to go downhill, which pretty much the whole race was downhill
Oh, it was an
after a
OCR
certain
event?
point. Yeah.
Okay.
Then and maybe it wasn't, it just felt like it was
Sure.
because my heels had these huge blisters on them. And that was horrible. That was like just a never ending experience of pain.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it. I guess I did know. So sometimes how like in the moment, knowledge that you used to have just leaves you.
Yeah.
And when I got done with the race, I was hurting so bad, and I, popped the blisters on my heels.
Oh.
Right. And so let the
Well, I
liquid
mean, it
out.
kind of relieves some of the pressure.
That's what I'm saying. It let the liquid out.
Yeah.
And I had no problems after that.
Yeah, but still.
Because I had that layer of skin still. So if I had just stopped
and
I
done it.
probably had and popped the blisters. I could have kept going, and it wouldn't have been an issue. It was not the same way.
It would
But
have
was-
hurt later, but it would have been fine for the race probably.
Well, it probably wouldn't even hurt as bad
Maybe, yeah.
because it was so excruciatingly painful because of all that liquid that was in
Yeah,
there, right?
the
Because that
pressure.
skin is rubbing, right? But I mean, because the skin acts like a Band-Aid to an extent once that liquid's out of there. So
Yeah.
it's the liquid in them that makes it hurt.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like wearing untested shoes or socks for an event, I think was probably one of the worst things, if not the worst things I've ever done for
Yeah.
an event. It literally ruined my entire race.
So I thought of one from one of my more recent races. Again, was actually Dallas. It was my first time doing women's pro, and my goal for the race was really just to survive it because it was my first time doing those pro weights solo. And somewhere in there, I don't know why, but once I got to the burpees, which we all know is my least favorite station, I hate them. But I decided I was going to try a new method for like doing the burpees that I've been training, meaning like, instead of like doing 7 or 8 and
Yeah.
taking a small break, I literally was like, I tried the step out, step in method the entire time without taking a break.
Uh-huh.
And I realized I had started slowing down so much. And I was like, it was taking me forever, which was mentally draining on me.
Yeah.
I was in that station so long.
Yeah.
Because I decided to change up how I've been training doing them on race day. And it emotionally wore on me, it mentally messed with me, and I was physically just so gassed. My heart rate was so high because I was in that station for what felt like forever.
Yeah. And you probably were.
Yeah, I really
Compared
was.
to
Like
what you usually would be,
Oh
right?
yeah, way longer.
Yeah. So basically,
Don't try new methods on race day.
stick to your race plan.
Stick to what you've been training.
Stick to what you've been training for and how you've been training, right? I have an athlete who was running Boston for the first time, and when we spoke, I was like, hey, well, actually, when we first started training for Boston, here's the goal. I just want to finish. I want to enjoy the experience. I want to go in there and just soak it all in. So, yeah, I want to run, but I don't care about PRing. I just want to whatever. So, as in our training, that's what we trained for, right? Because they were training for other stuff, right? It was kind of close to when they were doing another race. And then, we had our pre-race meeting about a week before, and they're like, so I want to go out here and run this pace. And I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, because they were feeling good. They're feeling confident about their
Nice and
training,
strong.
and they had just gotten a huge PR
Yep.
like a month or two before on another race, and so they're like, I'm going to live off of that, and I'm going to go to that next level. And then so we set a pace for them to go, and I was like, all right. I was like, but remember, you got this hill. It's downhill, so it's going to be to start out with. So it's going to be a little tricky. You're going to think you're killing it, and you're really just going downhill.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have an uphill, and you're going to have a downhill, you're going to have an uphill, and then you got heartbreak hill. And so they were like, okay, but the last 10K base is almost downhill. So, they go out, they didn't do any of that. They went out still hotter than what they were supposed to, right? And we live in Houston, so it's hard to train for
Hills.
big hills like that.
Oh yeah.
But they ended up having a tough time out there on the race, blew up, and I've never seen this individual not highly succeed in everything they do. But they struggled from probably mile 14 or 15 on, I feel like.
That's a long time struggle.
And you could, and I was following them on the app, right?
Yeah.
And I could see it happening. And I was like,
the pace just kind of dropping.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so sorry. I know it sucks. I know you feel bad. So, maybe don't go insane between the start of your training and the end of your training for a big event, right?
Yeah.
Remember what you originally. Yes, sometimes you need to adjust your goals
Yeah.
based off of your training and your fitness level and stuff like that. But don't become some kind of crazy person.
I was gonna say when people get to taper week the week before, they're like, oh, I think I'm gonna push for a much loftier goal because I feel so good. I'm like, well, you want to feel good, you want to feel strong right now. That doesn't mean we throw everything out the window in terms of the real reality of what you've worked for.
Yeah.
Just because you feel like you could go out and race the Olympics doesn't mean you can hit those times and survive. So, okay, so we've talked about making mistakes in food, racewear, nutrition, changing up your plan, changing out your goals. So we've all made mistakes. Race day, the week of the race, and you like to learn from watching other people. But what about after you've made the mistake? A lot of people will make a mistake and they'll kind of beat themselves up on. A lot of people like really hold on to the things they've done wrong and they kind of let it haunt them moving forward. So like, what is like, as a coach, how would you kind of talk someone down from that?
I probably wouldn't talk them down.
Okay.
I would probably tell them, don't do that again.
Okay.
I was like, I tried to tell you beforehand. You didn't listen to me.
You're such a compassionate person.
Stop it.
So compassionate.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, right? But like, okay, so if I was not your coach,
yes,
and you made that mistake,
yes,
right, then I would say, hey, you know, we want to not do anything new on race day. We want to work on this. We want to create a plan, and then we want to follow the plan. So next time, let's just make a better plan. Let's go through it.
Yeah.
But if I'm your coach and I've been telling you, don't do this, or you shouldn't do this, or whatever, and you go and do it, I'm going to tell you I told you so.
No sympathy from Coach James.
I'm going to be like, what the crud? What in the Sam Hill? Okay? So you've already used up your gentle coaching. Gentle James.
Gentle James is gone.
Gentle James is no longer here.
Gentle James is not in the building on race day, that's for sure.
Yes, he is. What are you talking about? I'm the biggest cheerleader out there. Not gently.
You can be
You're
I was going to say, you can be a cheerleader and not be gentle. Gabby is a cheerleader and Gabby ain't gentle. Gabby's a little bulldog.
Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, I mean, I would not talk them down off the ledge. I would tell them, obviously, it's going to be okay. There's always another day. You know, you can get better. You can come back from that. But I will also, like, very nicely, very sweetly tell them that I was right. And that next time, just listen to me.
Yeah. I can see you, like, them getting to the end. You just, like, getting down next to them, like, how'd that work out for you?
I would not do that. That would be mean. Like, right in the middle of their wall balls, and they're struggling, and I come over there, hey, you got this. But you remember when I told you to do it in reps of 20, and you tried to rip off 40 in the beginning, and now you can't even rip off one? Yeah. Who should you listen to? Huh? Yeah, Coach James. That's right. No, I wouldn't do that.
You should do like, well, when I was in drill team, if we didn't perform to a certain level, our coach, it only happened like twice that this happened, and we really, I guess, disappointed our coach. She made us do drills on the football field for hours in a storm. And like, we had to do like walking lunges back and forth on the field. We had to do like high kick drills in the storm. Yeah. Just to like put the fear in us that we would never do that again.
Wow.
It worked.
No, I wouldn't do anything like that. No. So I don't know how helpful that is. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure our coach would have done some crazy stuff like that. You know, if we lost a game for not listening or something, I'm sure we would have ran, you know, suicides until we all died. But no, I wouldn't do anything like that. So I would just say, hey, let's just do better next time.
Yeah.
And listen to me.
And listen to you're paying for the coaching. Might
Listen
as well.
to the coaching, yeah.
Listen to the coaching that you're paying for.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you train for things, you plan for things so they go well, but not everything's going to go according to plan. Maybe some things are just off someday. So mistakes happen, unfortunately, and you just have to sometimes you just have to know how to deal with it as it comes. Like, you just have to kind of know how to roll with the punches. You don't give up. You don't like say, oh man, this is all going down the drain. Might as well quit now and like mail it in.
Right.
You have to get in the right mindset. You need to stay focused. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, we're not going to do this again. It might not be the PR I wanted, but I'm still going to finish as strong as possible. And I'm going to not do what I just did ever again.
Yep. So I think that's really just the key is, you know, if you kind of learn, so we're talking about mistakes you've made, right? So you don't do anything, you do your best not to do anything new on race day. You try to create a plan, and more importantly than creating a plan is sticking to the plan that you actually had. You know, you make sure that you are fueling properly. You make sure that you're not trying any kind of new fueling as well, right? You don't drink Red Bull. I saw somebody was telling me,
oh no,
like,
yeah.
They were talking about race strategies, and they were like, you know, you do this, and then right after the rower, grab a Red Bull because it's got caffeine and it'll help you through the rest of the like, what the crud, people. So maybe that's another big mistake. Listening to people that don't know what in the heck they're talking about. Just because they've heard of High Rocks or because they've heard of marathoning or whatever. Stop listening to these freaking numbskulls, man.
Your best advice is to come from people who have done the race multiple times and have been successful after their races. Like, even if it's like a little PR, it doesn't always have to be a podium, but like there's constant growth. You know, training a lot of people, but like somebody who said, oh, well, I've done one race, or people will say, oh, well, I haven't done a race yet, because I do know these people who haven't done a race yet, but I'm a pretty strong person in the gym, so I know what I'm saying. I'm like,
yeah, no. So I just think those are the things that would be a huge mistake. That would be a big mistake, is listening to somebody that doesn't know what the heck they're talking about. And usually you can tell. You can tell based off of their credentials, on their experience, and how well the people that they're engaged with are doing. But yeah, don't just listen to, like, dude, and it's because we're in High Rocks and we talk about it all the time. That's all my feeds are full of.
Oh, yeah.
It's all
algorithm knows.
How High Rocks coaches, and apparently I just get High Rocks coaches that don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. It's just like ridiculous. I'm seeing people like, here's how we worked our way to a 119 split, a 119 High Rocks race. Our first 119 High Rocks race. It's like a team. And like their first freaking interval, or 1K interval, was like 4:10, and then 5:35.
Oh yeah, there's huge jump. Yeah.
7:45.
Yeah.
So they just go slower and slower and slower and slower and slower. And I'm like, that is not how you race, people. That is not how you race. There's a calculator that I've been using, trying to look at, and it's actually a pretty good tool, but the way the tool works is it's based off of the averages. So they take all this data from all these racers at the different times. So 120, 105, 110. They take the averages of each individual lap, sled push, whatever, and they compile them. And whatever that average is, it tells you, okay, if you want to hit this time, this is about where you need to be.
Yeah.
And and this is what's crazy, from like 110 and above, what you see is the first 2 or 3 laps are way faster, and the slowest lap is the last lap.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not telling you that's what you need to do.
No, it's telling
you that's what
that's
everybody
the average
else
person
does.
is doing.
That's what the average time to get that time. That's what the average person.
Yes.
But the closer you get to like an hour 5, an hour, a sub an hour, the more consistent, and the reverse.
Yeah.
Right? So the slower paces are in the beginning and the faster paces at the end.
Yes.
So they're not like telling you, they're not coaching you and telling you like, hey, this is what you need to run this time. They're telling you, of all the thousands of people that have ran this race, if you want to run somewhere around this time, these are the times each one of these stations need to be.
Yeah.
So if you notice the trend, the people who are faster at the end, and they're more consistent throughout the race.
Yes.
The people who are slower are faster at the beginning and way slower at the end.
Burn out. Race burnout is so real, guys.
Yeah.
It's
So
real.
don't make that mistake of going out like an insane person. I love the skier.
Oh, I'm glad you do.
I love the first part of the High Rocks race if I'm watching it.
Oh, watching it. Oh, yeah.
Especially the women. Especially the women.
The girls get so like spin happy.
Because they come out hot, and then they get to the skier, and the skier is like this long row. It looks so cool.
It's a pretty cool thing to see.
And you're just seeing heads
a
and
wave of
ponytails
heads
just flopping everywhere.
It is an artwork.
And I don't even think half of them are looking at the screen.
No.
They're just reckless abandonment, just cranking away with everything they have. And then when you walk behind the screens,
and you can see it,
and you're seeing the pace on the screen, the screen pace does not match the intensity at which they're operating.
Well, it doesn't match the intensity, and also on the other end, you'll have a girl, if you watch her at the very beginning, because I do this all the time, I'll watch you're right, it is a lot of times the ladies. I will watch a lady who will have like a really impressive split at the very beginning. Like first 100 meters, I'm like, oh, sweet. But she's like going to town on that thing. And then you kind of walk away and you come back and they're at the 500 and it's like the running. It's all of a sudden like up 30 seconds.
Right. And then they end up finishing way slower and coming off, and they're like gassed, right? They can't run fast. So there's a huge drop off. So, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see so many people make, and specifically in High Rocks, is they don't realize that it is an endurance event, and what you do in the beginning will dictate how you finish.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so, I've heard people say this: you feel fresh, you feel good in the beginning, take advantage of it, and bank time. There is no such thing as banking time. If you bank time, I guarantee all the time you banked, you're going to lose it. Okay? Take it from someone who's made the mistake before. I've ran marathons, half marathons, OCR events where that same thing, I went out hot and I finished slow.
Yeah.
Right?
You've tested all the methods.
Yeah. So I've failed just as much as everybody else has. And so, what I have learned over the years, and some of that was just as I was still learning how to run or learning how to train or learn how to race. But it's like so true in that if you go out easy, you can push at the end.
Yeah.
You go out too fast, you're going to die at the end.
Because you can't, once your heart rate is sky high, you really can't get it back down. Not in this kind of event.
Right.
It's
so
not
it doesn't regulate. So really what you're trying to do is you're trying to keep your heart rate at a fairly steady pace so that you can maintain that effort the entire time. And then you have enough energy left at the end to push.
Yes.
Right.
You can
and
go
let
for
that
the
heart rate
zone.
go back up. But if it goes up too soon, it doesn't matter what you're running. It's going to just stay up.
Yeah.
Right. And it usually won't regulate and come back down. Right. So you're looking at managing those energy levels based off of your fitness level. I don't care what kind of mindset you have. Yes, I do agree that having a tough mindset and, being able to push when it hurts, I think all those things are important, but those are learned in training, right? I don't care how hard you are. I don't care how much grind you have inside of you. Once you reach a certain level of fatigue, you're going to fall off.
Yeah.
And what I find is it's usually the people who are the most intense, those are the ones who fall off the hardest.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I pushed myself to the limit and, I cramped or this happened or whatever. You don't win the race on the skier. You don't read the race on the sled pull. You win the race or you succeed in the race, whatever that looks like for you, based off of how you manage the effort overall.
Well, and I'd say another thing, and I was going to call it a trap. I wouldn't call it a trap. It's a lot of people I talk to are like, well, I watch and study all these other elite racers who do these really awesome times, and I'm just basically mimicking exactly what they do. And I'm like, but they're training at a very different level. And their training volume might be very different. Their base level of fitness might be very different. And they've become accustomed to whatever they're doing in the race to be where they're at. So you, at being at a very different level, trying to mimic that could end up ruining your whole race.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'd ask the question. I'd be like, when you say you're doing exactly what they're doing, are you talking about you're doing what they're doing in the race or are you doing what they do in training?
I would say it's some people I talk to.
And how do you know you're doing exactly what they do in training, right?
Yeah.
So, how many miles a week are you running?
Yeah, exactly.
You really think, I run twice a week.
Yeah.
And I do a 7-mile run on Saturday. Okay. I can guarantee they're not doing that.
Yeah.
They're
No.
way more volume than that.
So I'm going to throw, if we have quick time, because you do coach a lot of people and we're talking about mistakes, some questions that I've actually received this week from people. And I'm curious as to how you would navigate these questions for athletes. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. First question. This athlete reached out to me. They were actually recommended to talk to me because the person who put us in touch knew I was very big into the sport. And the person said, it's my very first time doing high rocks. I signed up for it a very long time ago on a dare from some friends, and I completely forgot I signed up for it. And so I have not been training at all. I have never pushed or pulled a sled. He literally said, I've never put my hands on a sled. What do I do? And I know what I told him, but I'm curious as to how, now that we are at race day, how would you direct this person to go into the race?
Go out, have fun, start super duper slow.
That's
slower than you possibly think you can run. And then when you get past the sleds, then if you feel like you're feeling good, speed up.
Okay.
That would be it. Just go out very conservative in the beginning, because obviously it doesn't mean that much to them to begin with, because if they had, they would have remembered they signed up for it. So the whole point really is just to finish.
Yeah.
Right? So go out super duper easy, jog it out, and then when you get past the sleds, you'll have the energy. You'll have more energy to actually do the sleds.
Yeah.
And then when you get past those sleds, then if you're feeling okay, then you can pick it up. And if you want to run faster or whatever, then do that. But I would say start slow.
Okay.
I mean, you could go. I mean, the cool thing is they have the little warm up area where you can go and touch the sleds and stuff. But other than just getting a feel for how to put your hands on it, right? Because there is technique to pushing the sled and pulling the sled. So kind of getting an idea. I would not I would not push the sled, 5 or 10 lengths.
Yeah.
To get used to it.
No.
But
and then go try to push the sled
maybe
for
ask
real.
some people that are there. Hey, can you show me some techniques on how to do the sled, the push and the pull? And then, like I said, just go out easy.
Okay. Second one. And this is one I think I kind of talked to you a little about earlier this week. An athlete reached out to me, and I don't know what got them to this point, but they said, I'm in a big pickle. I need new race shoes. I'm like, it's the week before the race. It's a little late to be doing that. And they said, well, I looked at my shoes and they're not going to cut it. There's literally, the traction was rubbed completely off the bottom of their shoes.
Yeah.
And when I say, they showed me a picture when I say it was off.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, there's no way I can push the sleds in these. I can't. They don't get any traction. I'll be slipping and sliding. And I know as someone who has been in that position My second race, I had no traction on my shoes, didn't realize it, and I was there for, again, a very long time, and it was miserable, and it was awful and painful. They were asking me about, okay, well, I need to find new shoes. It's, last minute. They have a very hard time finding the right type of shoe for their foot size. So helping them decide, do they try to go for the exact same shoe they're going for? Do they need to find something similar? Like there's a whole bunch. It sparked an entire debate amongst people of how they should go about fixing this problem.
Yeah.
So
I would
as a
just say
coach,
try to find the same kind of shoes.
same exact shoe.
Yeah. I mean, especially because it sounds like this person doesn't wear a lot of running shoes.
They're not a
Doesn't
runner.
sound like they have a bunch of them in their shoe quiver.
Yeah.
So I would just say find the same shoe. Right? It's
you go.
one you're used to, you're comfortable in, it works for you. And then just it's freshened, grip.
Would finding like the same exact shoe versus, let's say they had to find something that, like they say they could not find that exact shoe in their size. If it was something similar, would they get a similar benefit out of it?
I mean,
In
I
terms
guess
of
it
like
just
how their
depends on
body
what
would respond.
Similar means.
Stack and all that.
Yeah. I mean,
I know that can be a real.
every brand fits different, right? So unless you're used to wearing a bunch of different brands, right, you can kind of get an idea
Yeah.
of what works good for you,
Yeah.
right? So like for me, I wouldn't use Hoka because Hoka doesn't traditionally fit me very well. I haven't been a big fan of the foams. And so unless I had tested it, I wouldn't wear it, right?
Okay.
Even somebody told me it was the best race shoe ever. But like say Puma or Adidas or Nike or Asics, I've tried a lot of different versions of those. And I know in general how the kind of the shoe brand fits, how their last work. And so if someone's like, oh, this is an amazing shoe, I would probably trust that, grab a pair and run in them at least once to see how I feel.
Yeah.
Test them out on the grip,
Yep.
the week before or so, and then maybe do it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if someone's not that used to running in shoes and they only have one kind of shoe, I'd find the same shoe.
Yeah.
Or at least the updated version. I mean, that still could be that could still be a risky situation because they change shoes.
Yeah.
Or they change the styles sometimes and
Yeah.
they update them. And sometimes the update's great. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
So wear the same shoe.
Wear the same shoe. Okay. Well, there you go. People hoping
Put some duct tape on the bottom of them.
Seriously.
I'm just kidding.
Get some hairspray.
Yeah. Get some stick 'em.
Stick 'em.
But yeah. I don't know. So, I mean,
Keep an eye on your equipment is really the best thing. I told them, I was like, if honestly, like I would never tell somebody to get new shoes a week before race, but you're clearly in a big pickle.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I don't know how slippery it is. Have you seen them slipping and sliding?
I have not gotten to train with this person like this is somebody I talked to, but like I haven't never gotten to train with them. So
I mean, they might be okay.
yeah.
But the odds are, it's a long enough event that you could definitely get some blisters and hot spots.
That's what I was more nervous
and
about.
that could
for
make
them.
it super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I would say try to find the same shoe.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, well, I thought about trying new socks. I was like, don't try new socks. Don't
No,
definitely don't do new socks. Do new shoes before you do new socks.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, you don't want anything that might be abrasive or whatever on your foot, unless it's a new pair of the socks you already use.
Well, hopefully you don't make any of these mistakes. Hopefully you have been putting all of your training to good use and you were prepared and you were ready for everything. You've got your satchel of goodies and race gear set up.
Yeah. And you're going to have a fun weekend with us.
Fun weekend.
So, guys, tonight we're going to be having a shakeout run at 6 p.m. at Discovery Green. So if you're in the area, if you want to come hang out with us, come run with us. We'll probably see some famous faces out there because everybody and their mother apparently is doing a shakeout run. Why is everybody trying to be like us, Lauren?
Honestly, I don't know, but I've gotten so many people reaching out about our shakeout run.
Yeah, no, that's great. We want them there. We want you to be a part. And, if you're out there doing a shakeout run and nobody shows up for your shakeout run, come join ours. We can be a crew together.
Sorry, we stole all your people.
And have fun together. What's going to be funny is when you and I are there by ourselves.
No, and everyone went to something
Everybody
else.
went to everybody else's run, right?
I
Because that's
know.
probably what's going to be like. Because, let's be honest, guys. The Running with James podcast, we're legit. We are the third largest podcast, High Rocks podcast in the world. And we believe in community. So, we always encourage people to help other people, right? So if we see a group out there trying to do their shakeout run and they look a little sad, a little lonely, we'll send some of our people over there. We don't mind. We don't mind.
We can sacrifice a few of our people because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Our community is about
service and sacrifice.
Yes.
That's it.
Encouraging others.
So, but if you're in the area, come run with us. We're going to have a good time. And then
if you see us at the event, make sure to say hi. You will definitely, we're going to be a force to be seen. Like, you're going to see a lot of the same shirts.
Hopefully.
Running
Everybody's
around.
going to actually wear their stuff.
BC, y'all need to be wearing your shirts. If y'all show up in not our shirts, we're going to have a talk.
There's going to be problems.
There's going to be
consequences and repercussions.
Gentle Lauren will leave the building.
Gentle Lauren.
Gentle Lauren usually is here to stay forever, but Gentle Lauren will leave the building.
So, but yeah, so it's gonna be a great time. So, if you're racing this weekend, do your best. You're gonna do awesome. You put in the work, and just go out there and have a good time. Come say hello to us. Come hang out with us, and then we'll be there the entire weekend. Coach Lauren is judging on the burpees.
Burpees.
Yep,
So make
she's
sure
gonna be doing a head judge at the burpees. So on Saturday morning.
if you're in the burpees,
If you're in the burpees, you better make. She's looking for people to like send back.
I am. I might get drunk with power, guys.
I could see that actually happening, honestly.
Okay, so I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait for some big guy to try to fight me.
What about some big girl?
But I'm not going to have one. Oh, I could have the pro women. You're right.
Yeah.
I could have the pro women or some big
And
girl.
if there's a big girl, that would be her in pro.
Yeah, that's right. You're
But
right.
you're over here like, oh, I got to.
Because I forgot they had them pro women.
Man,
I totally forgot.
man,
I
suck.
forgot about the pro women.
I'm gonna tell you right now, ladies, pro ladies, I'm gonna be head judging at the wall balls. If a pro woman comes up and shoves me,
Oh yeah.
do you hear what I'm saying? If a pro woman comes up and shoves me, I am not gonna move.
Ladies, do me a favor. Don't shove them, but just come up and gently go
No,
cheat.
pay attention when I
Grab
tell
his
you to
chi-chis.
go to the left because that's what the instructions I was given by the race director. Do not go where you want to go. You go where I tell you to go because I am the head judge. Don't shove me with animosity and anger. If you do, not only will you be getting no repped, but I'm going to make you go back and move, and so you're going to lose time. So just follow the rules, guys.
Don't argue with your judges.
Respect the judges.
We're not coming for you, but we're going
We
to
want
come
to help you. We don't want to hurt you.
We don't want you to get no repped and penalized. We really don't, but we also
No.
want to keep you accountable for the race. So
Exactly.
just do what you're
not
supposed to
shove
do.
me. If I get shoved again, there's going to be problems. I have never in my life hit anybody. I don't even know if
This
I've
is the
shoved
time.
someone before.
This is the
This may be the
time.
first time. I'm not going to be shoved again.
Ladies, you're fine. He's
I
not
had
going to
a
shove
chalk hand mark on
He
my
did.
chest. Two, actually.
you. It was actually pretty funny.
Two on my chest. And I jumped back
She got fresh with you.
because I was so surprised. Like, because she also told me to get the beep out of the way, which you know how I feel about.
I'm starting to think that maybe you and I
Cussing.
should switch positions. Maybe you should take the burpees and I'll take
Oh
the
my
wall
God.
balls.
Oh, my God. Woo, I got some animosity still. So, anyway, just know if you come to the wall balls, we're going to be there for you. But if you touch me, I don't know. I may judo flip somebody. I don't know. I may judo
Karate
flip
crane.
somebody. Ooh.
Karate crane somebody.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So, but if you have a good time, guys, it's because we're out there cheering you on.
Yeah.
And you didn't get
For sure.
judo flipped for putting your hands on me.
If you don't hear no rep, just know we had your back.
That's right. That's right.
We
That's
had
right.
your back the whole time.
That's right. So have a good time, guys. It's going to be fun. We want to see you out there. We'll catch you next week as well. So this week is going to be fun. If you have the ability to do so, please support the show by you can go to YouTube where you can obviously subscribe. You can share. You can also on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow us and rate the show. And then if you have the ability as well, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/runningwithjames so you can get additional content and some sweet gear. So guys, we thank you so much for joining us. Have a great race this weekend. We'll catch you on the flip next weekend. Remember, if you change your mind,
You can change your life.
bye.